Hello, welcome. I am so excited to meet and talk with my friend and colleague, Priscilla Jonson. She is with the Elevate team at Remax Results. She has been in real estate for 10 years now. Um, she's a super agent. She has been named a super agent with Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine for many, many years. And she's really passionate about educating home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, which is something she and I share. I love teaching homebuyer education classes with her, and she has a really great in-depth knowledge of building anatomy, which really makes her special beyond her passion for educating people. So I'm really excited to have a conversation with her today. Hi, Priscilla. Good afternoon.
Hello, Erin. It's nice to see you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. We were talking the other day, and one of the things that we talked about, they said, hey, we should do a video about this, is talking about your unique approach to helping buyers buy a home with regard to how to properly tour and analyze a home, and also about your in-depth knowledge, like I said, of building anatomy and how that plays into the role that you play with helping people make good choices with real estate. So I'm really glad to have you here to talk about that today.
Yes, well, thank you. And yes, so something that I see a lot in this industry is a lack of basic building knowledge. A home is ever changing. Each home is unique. So having an understanding of building anatomy is pretty crucial when touring a home for both agents and buyers. I've spent copious amounts of hours learning about homes and what to look for when walking through so that I can be a vital resource for buyers when I'm helping them.
Well, and tell me what kinds of, when you say you've spent copious amounts of hours learning about that, like what kind of classes have you taken that have given you that building anatomy knowledge?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a part of being a real estate agent, it is required that we do continuing education. The glory of that is I get to choose what I learn. And so, a lot of that I have chosen to do inspection focused um, classes. And then I'll also, outside of that, I'm kind of a little bit of a nerd, but when I'm driving around or if I'm just sitting around the house or doing some laundry, I pop in a podcast through one of my local inspection companies, and they have hours and hours and hours of knowledge that I've taken in, and just really knowledgeable people. And I'm very excited to have had that resource.
That's really cool because, it's, we both know with continuing education, you can take the easy way out with the stuff that doesn't require much from you, or you can choose to spend some time investing in actually learning something new. And I love that you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also kind of found that it just is probably one of the things that I love most about real estate is just buildings and how they function and helping people get into something that's going to be a great investment for them.
Well, and that all starts with touring the house, right?
Yeah. Well, it actually starts with before they start touring the house, because before touring any homes, a buyer is going to want to create a plan so that they can provide that plan to their hired real estate agent, where they can talk through their ultimate scenario with them and what's important about buying a home to them. Everyone's in, everyone's buying process is a little different. And without having that conversation ahead of time, the buyer won't have a full understanding and something to fall back on when things get challenging. Like I said, real estate transactions are unique and there are many, many things that can go wrong. But I found that when buyers and their agents are clear on the buyer's goals in life, it makes handling the turbulence of that transaction a lot easier to get through.
Yeah, well, as we say often, right, when your values are clear, your decisions are easy.
Mm,
And buying a home is such an emotional process that's really easy to get distracted from what's important to you by shiny objects.
yeah, absolutely.
So tell
Yes.
me about touring a house.
Yeah. So once someone has identified what's important to them, which, as I said, is unique to everyone, some people have common needs and common wants. And the most that I hear from people are location of their home, price point, space and layout, school district, amount of work needed, and a place to do their work and hobbies. So once they've identified what's important, they can start doing the home search. I always recommend that before they go out and start looking for their home, that they do this thing called a research phase. I just love this. It's actually one of my favorite parts. I always say, go out and don't even think about buying.
Mhm.
Tour 4 to 7 homes each time. Look at different floor plans, tour homes on the lower end of the budget, some in the middle, some in the high end. If they're buying a new construction property, I always say tour different builders, tour different developments, tour homes that need some work, that they can move into. That way that they have the opportunity to feel like they are fully understanding of what is on the market so that they are aware of what is out there. And when they get to the point when they start thinking that they are wanting to purchase a home, they do have that confidence. Like I said, this is the portion of the home buying process that I love because there's no pressure. It's fun. They actually get to go out and tour homes, which is just so fun. And I also get the opportunity to share with the buyers my knowledge and my education so that they can become more educated homeowners down the road.
Well, and that's something too that I think is really special about you. A lot of real estate agents want to get their clients in a car and go sell them a house as quick as they can. And you will say, hey, no, let's put in the brakes and let's make sure you're fully informed and prepared so you can make a good decision when you find the right house.
Yeah, absolutely. And once they get to that point, they will know. They'll be like, yes, I'm ready to go. So now they get the opportunity to start assessing their homes that they're looking at for what they truly are. So I wanted to highlight some of the major components that we typically look for when looking through a home, just so that clients can know and buyers can know before they start going out what they're going to be looking at when looking through a home. Outside of the really fun stuff like colors and kitchen cabinets and stuff like that.
Right. All
So
the shiny objects.
yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many shiny objects when it comes to real estate. But that can sometimes be covering up things that are not as fun to deal with. So I'm going to talk about the exterior of the home. So some of the things that I look for when walking up to a home, right when I'm pulling up to the home, I take a look at the driveway. I'm looking at the siding. Is it low maintenance siding? If so, it's easy to maintain, but that can't be painted. So yeah, sounds nice unless you don't like the color.
Right.
Also, is the foundation visible? Looking at that to make sure there isn't any cracks or if it needs to be replaced at all, because that can be a very large investment.
Indeed.
How does the roof look? Is it asphalt? Are there tabs being pulled up? Are there stains on it? Honestly, roofs can be a very large expense as well. And if someone isn't prepared for that expense ahead of time, it can kind of come back to bite them down the road.
Well, so true. And, there's that other component. Here we are in December 2023, and homeowners insurance rates have been skyrocketing. And there have been so many changes in the insurance industry because of hail claims, because of climate issues, because of the rising cost of construction, that some insurance companies are no longer insuring properties with roofs over a certain age. So that's a really important thing that even if a client's willing to take on, we want to make sure they can get homeowners insurance on the house as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad you actually brought that up because a lot of people, when they're looking at houses, they don't even think that the type of roof will affect them. But there are cedar roofs out there in Minnesota that they can last forever. But a lot of insurance companies won't insure them, or it's going to be extremely a lot to insure because of the cost to replace them. So yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. So then the next thing that I do is we head right into the home. And so some of the items that I look for right away are windows. Are the windows old? Some windows may be painted over to look new. So it's really important to look around the windows, above the windows, below to see if there's any damage. Some of these windows nowadays are vinyl, which are great. They're great for energy efficiency, but they do still have issues such as broken seals. So if anyone sees rainbow effects on the windows or if it's fogging, that most likely means that they need to be replaced. I also, being someone who has had many issues with homes with water damage that I have owned, I'm always on the lookout for water damage. So looking at ceilings, looking at floorboards, trying to figure out if there's any continuing water issue that I can see. And if not, trying to see if there's any way that we can get an answer on when that happened or if that's something that is being continued. Looking under sinks to see if there's leaks there. Age of mechanicals is huge. A lot of buyers, a lot of agents, a lot of people in general just don't know how to check the age of their mechanicals. Water heaters will have manufacturing tags on them that does show the date of it, and AC units will as well. But furnaces, those might be a little bit more tricky. A lot of them do have tags on the inside of the furnaces, and not being an inspector, I can't open a furnace. So what I'm looking for is visible signs of age, corrosion, any buildup of anything on the furnace. And of course, how does it look? Does it look older than I am? it's probably needing to be replaced
Well,
sometimes.
and those are such big ticket items. And, we've talked about this in the past, is that you can drive down a street and there are many suburban locations where most of the houses on the street will look the same. But when you get inside, they're very different. And the difference in value from one property to another can have a lot to do with the age of the mechanicals and the roof and the things that aren't sexy, but are really important to the value of the house and how much it's going to cost to maintain it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And again, to a common person who doesn't do this day in and day out, they may walk up to a house and say, how the heck would I ever know the age of it? And the good thing is there are a lot of resources out there in order to find the age if it's not actually right dead there, right in front of your face.
Mhm.
The sellers do have to fill out a seller's disclosure, which will highlight all of the items in the house, any condition issues, and they will potentially add an age in there if they know any age of the items. If they don't know, another option is the city. The city might have permits that they pulled on file. So that's a really great resource. Another really great resource too is some cities around the Twin Cities do require a city's inspection. I always say though, that even though these are very, very helpful for a buyer, it's not done in the best interest of a buyer. So they should always
Out of home inspection.
have a home inspection. Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Which leads me to say, even though you're walking through a home, even if you have the most knowledgeable real estate agent when it comes to building anatomy, I would never recommend anyone buy a home without an inspection, no matter how knowledgeable your real estate agent is. Inspections do cost a lot, $5 to $1,000, depending on the company and the extent of the inspections. Although that upfront cost might sound like a lot, you're not going to regret spending that money if something major comes up and you're able to back out of the house.
Oh, it is the best money spent on a house you don't buy. Is You and I had some clients who wrote a contract on a home that through the inspection, they found out that they had some electrical wiring that was a fire safety hazard. And I don't recall, I think it was 20 plus $1,000 if they wanted to get that electrical corrected.
Yep.
Yeah. And they didn't have that money. And if they would have bought that home and no inspection had found that, they could have had either a catastrophic event or they could have find out that they needed to spend that money a lot sooner than they had it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, for a lot of buyers, this may sound really overwhelming. I always recommend doing some research ahead of time before you even start the home buying process on the main components of the property. Even more important, I think it's crucial to hire an agent that has a large knowledge base of building anatomy, which will allow for large items to be caught, hopefully before even submitting an offer and even before having to do the inspection.
Right.
Again, I would not say that rely on your agent for the inspection, but if you're not comfortable with the items that your real estate agent points out during the walkthrough, you can just continue on the search. A
Right.
knowledgeable realtor will also be able to give you an idea of what those items potentially could cost so you can make that decision for yourself.
Right. Which is great. I mean, it's the same reason that I talk to clients about their situation before we actually jump into the pre-approval process, because we want to make sure everything's going to fit with what they want to do before they actually take that step. Just like you want to make sure that the house looks like it will be a good fit for them before they actually write a contract and consider spending money on a home inspection.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to wrap things up here, I know we covered a lot. It can feel like drinking out of a fire hose sometimes, but if you're looking to buy a home and you outline what's important to you, really that's going to help you achieve that goal of purchasing a home. So just making sure that someone educates themselves and hiring someone who is also educated in their craft and what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what separates the expert real estate agents from everybody else. There's so many people who have a real estate license, but they aren't experts. It may be a part-time job, and you spend so much time making sure that you can be a good representative for your buyers. And that's something I just absolutely love about you. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can get a hold of me easy, call or text. My phone number 952-356-4295.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me about this today. This will be great information for people who are thinking about buying a home.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Erin. I greatly appreciate it. It's been fun to chat about something that I absolutely love.
Absolutely. Thank you.